Hello guys, welcome back to another video. You have joined me with my BMW E93 series there behind me, and today I'm going to be talking about all of the common problems. Let's get into it. Now, as we can see, this is the BMW E90, which means it is the saloon or sedan, but this video is also going to be applicable to the E91, which is the touring, the E92, which is the coupe, and the E93, which is the convertible. Now, the first set of common problems that I want to talk about is regarding the engine. So let's go ahead and let's pop that hood. Now then, if you know your engines, you'll know that this is the N47 engine. It's a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel engines. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single common problem about every single engine choice, but I'm going to go over some of the engines that you should avoid. Now then, when it comes to diesel engines, you have 4 choices. So there is M47, M57, N47 or N57. Now, in my opinion, either one of these engines is a solid choice. The main thing is though that you keep up with regular oil changes. Now, I know, I am well aware that the N47 and N57 do suffer from timing chain failures, but the main cause for that is extended oil change intervals. In my opinion, keep up regular oil changes and these engines will go for a very long time. Now let's talk about the petrol engines then, and in my opinion there realistically is only 3 or 4 engines you should choose. That is the N51 if you are in the USA, the N52, the N54 if you want to go big power, or of course the M3 engine, which is the S65. In my opinion, I'd stay well away from the N42, N43, N45 and N46 engines. They're just not worth the time and effort. Now then, that's going to be it for the engine choices. A massive common problem that seems to affect these cars is the rear subframe. So the front is absolutely fine, that is aluminium, but the rear is steel. Now take a look at this one in particular. So as we can see, the rear subframe, of course, it is still solid. It is, still intact, but it does suffer quite bad from surface corrosion. Now, is this going to be a problem, anytime soon? No, it's definitely not. But if you want to keep this car long term, I would recommend removing the subframe, cleaning it up and getting it powder coated or painted. Now then, on the topic of rust, the E90 is nowhere near as bad as the E46 was, but there are still some areas of concern. So if we take a look here on the front wings, we can see we do have some light bubbling. And if we take a look on the rear wheel arches as well, these will rust if you don't keep the salt away. So what I would recommend is cleaning your wheel arches, especially in the winter time. Keep that salt away from the paintwork. Okay, so we are inside the car now, and probably one of the most common problems is with the cup holders. So in our case, we don't seem to have failed cup holders. So of course, to get them to eject out, you just have to push them in. That one works fine, and that one also works fine. But a common problem with these is they just seem to get stuck. And yes, you can try and disassemble them and check to see what's broken or give them a grease up, but more times than not it's just easier just to get brand new cup holders. They're not too expensive, direct from BMW. So if you notice that your cup holders are stuck, then just go ahead and replace them. Another common problem in here then is with the handles, the grab handles for the door. So if you notice that your grab handle is a bit sticky, not to worry, there isn't something spilt on there. It is more than likely just the rubberized coating on the handle itself has worn off. BMW like to use a lot of this rubberized coating in this era, and when it wears off it does appear to be quite sticky. Of course, it's nothing major, so you can just decide to live with it, or if you wanted to, you could go ahead and replace the handle itself. Now, another common problem with these then is the ABS reluctor rings. Now, if you have no idea what they are, essentially it is just a ring on the end of the drive shaft. Now, with this being a rear wheel drive, of course we have the drive shafts to the rear wheels. Now, the reluctor ring itself, the ABS ring, does rust, it corrodes very badly, and you will have a bunch of ABS errors. So if you notice that you have ABS errors, there's a good chance it is your ABS reluctor rings. Another common problem on these then is the front control arms. Now when I say the front control arms, I mean the main thrust arms. Now these take a real beating from heavy braking, and it's usually not the ball joint end that fails, it's usually the bush that goes into the front subframe itself. Now again, if your car has covered 100,000 miles or so, it's definitely worth looking at replacing these. Another issue with these then is with the boot and the bonnet struts. So these struts right here, if you notice that your boot is not lifting up as it should, you know, maybe it is just staying there, or it's just, you know, falling down, there's a good chance that these are going to be pretty worn. Now I have replaced these. I would definitely recommend going OEM, and when it comes to OEM on these, they use stableless shocks. And as you can see as well, I've also went ahead and swapped out the front ones at the same time. This is definitely something that's worth doing, you know, for the cost of 4 new shocks, you know, for the bonnet and for the boot, you're talking 40 to 50 pounds. Another bad area for wear inside the car is with the steering wheel. Now as you can see, this is a nice freshly retrimmed steering wheel. Now the steering wheel that I had before this, because this car has covered 155,000 miles, the steering wheel was pretty well worn. You'll usually notice, first and foremost, it will start cracking along the top edge. Now I don't know if this is because of direct contact with a driver's hand, or if it is just direct sunlight hitting the steering wheel and eventually cracking the leather. But if your steering wheel is still in good condition, I would highly recommend putting some leather cleaner and conditioner on it, just to keep the leather on it nice and soft and to prolong the life from your wheel. But if it's too far gone, then in my opinion, just get a new refurbished steering wheel, or if you want to try and do it yourself, you can get a refurbishment kit, but it does involve a bit of stitching. Another issue that can arise with these cars then is to do with the transmission. Now as you can see, this is a manual transmission. Now in particular, if you find it difficult to get it into first or into reverse, then it is well worth servicing your transmission. Now I have done a bunch of videos on this, I've done it a few times now. So if you have a manual, it's definitely worth servicing the transmission. Now if you have an auto, it is critical that you service the transmission. I'd recommend servicing an auto transmission every 60 to 80,000 miles. Scratch what BMW tell you, it's not lifetime. If you want your car or your transmission to last 300,000 miles plus, service the transmission every 60 to 80,000 miles. Now then, another common problem is with the rear shocks. So if your car has covered 100,000 miles or so, there is a good chance that the rear shocks are going to be pretty shot. Now I know for a fact these have just been replaced. When it comes to replacements, I would only go with a good set like Sachs or Bilstein, because you do want these to last. If you cheap out on shock absorbers, they will fail prematurely. Another common problem then, and this is to do with the passenger seat. So in the passenger seat, there is a seat occupancy sensor, and it is essentially just a large mat which occupies the base of the seat. Now this is pretty prone for failing. You will notice you will have an SRS airbag error pop up on the dash. And when that does, it's more than likely this seat sensor inside of the seat itself. Now to replace the sensor, it's very, very difficult, it's very time consuming, and it's very, very expensive. Now there is a cheaper alternative to replacing the seat mat sensor itself. Essentially you can get an emulator kit which plugs in and tricks the car into thinking that there's nobody sat in the seat, and it won't trigger your SRS airbag light. Again, I have done a video on this, so if you want to check that out, that will be on my channel. Now I must stress that this is not a proper fix, but it is something that you can do going forward. Of course, it is entirely up to you. Now there is one more common problem, and this is something that you definitely want to take care of. So in the engine bay you have two main water drains. So if you take a look down here, we can see we have a grate. Now this likes to get filled up with leaves and it stops water from draining down there. Now if water can no longer drain down there, what can happen is you can get water inside of your cabin. It'll leak through the seals eventually, but two, you can end up with water in your ECU box, which obviously can cause massive problems. So make sure that you periodically check these drains and make sure they are clear for water to drain down into. Okay then guys, that has been all of the common problems for the BMW E93 series. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one. Peace!